CBS has finalized their merger with Viacom, and we've got a bunch of new theories regarding the short track coming out this week for Captain Pike. Let's pour it up! So before we get into today's video, you guys may have noticed that I have a couple of new furry friends looking to take over my desk. These awesome tribbles over here are from adoptatribble.com. They also have an awesome Etsy website. I went ahead and ordered this one here, which is the Earl Grey color, which seems to be befitting of this awesome show that we here enjoy. And I reached out to the creators and the managers of adoptatribble.com and said, hey, do you guys have any other cool items I can show off to you guys, the audience, that they may be excited to go and check out on your store? And they were able to send me all sorts of cool little knickknacks and trinkets so that I could share these things with you guys. So it's not just these tribbles. It's the big tribble. It's the little tribble. We've got pins and little tiny dinosaur stickers. And we've got Riker dinosaur stickers. And we got this cool Pride sticker. And we've got that Nebula Has Coffee sticker. And we've got that We Are the Bork sticker. And we've also got We Dead Jim iPhone charger stickers. We got nothing but stickers. We love a good sticker over at Adopt a Tribble. And these amazing custom-made tribbles that they do over there. They have a bunch of different kind of flavors, I guess you could call them. I don't know if that's an Easter egg for the short trek from a little bit ago with the little girls eating, tribbles as a cereal, but the reason that I went with them is, number one, that I really thought the quality was there based off of the information and the feedback on their website, but B, I wanted one that was big, but also didn't move. I didn't want anything that would rattle. So these guys don't rattle, which is a specific purpose in mind for mine. I was just looking for a throw one that could sit here on the desk, and now he's got a little furry friend that I'm very excited about as well. So if you guys want to have a cool tribble like me, and maybe some of these other cool items that they are selling over on adoptatribble.com, you can go ahead and use the promo code THANKYOU10. Again, that's THANKYOU10 as you purchase out to get 10% off of your entire purchase when you check out over there. I just want you guys to enjoy some of these awesome things that I'm also enjoying, because I figured some of you guys may be wondering where I got these from. Okay, so the first story that we're going to kind of get into today is the whole situation with CBS and Viacom finalizing their merger. I reported on this on a P2 video a couple days ago, but I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more beyond just their merger and what that kind of means. I want to take the scope out a little bit from there and look at it from a perspective of the landscape of SVOD, streaming video on demand. And I would say CBS All Access and Showtime, we do know for sure that they have a combined 8 million subscriber base, but I would say that from, a corporation looking at it, they probably feel over there at CBS Viacom that they've got a kind of gold mine on their hands. They have the entire film library of Paramount and Paramount Television, which kind of turned into CBS TV. They have all of CBS's stuff, and they also have Showtime. And I would not be surprised if we don't see some kind of a merger into Viacom CBS Plus. These guys and gals over there probably think they've got I guess maybe like a Disney Plus version that they have over there. Disney Plus obviously has like a huge, massive library of information, things that people really want, and it just launched the other day, and so far it's been pretty good. I know they've had a couple of technical glitches kind of here and there, but overall the response has been great from what I hear. And I think that Viacom CBS are seeing that the SVOD landscape is getting more and more dangerous with HBO Plus coming out and Apple Plus, and everyone's a plus now for some reason, but all of these different streaming services are coming out to really try to force their way into our wallets, so to speak, so that they can kind of get us to watch their content. And this is going to be a very dangerous kind of waters for a lot of these companies over the next 3 to 5 years, as a lot of these streaming services are going to come out really hot, and then they're probably just going to fall right off because people are not going to subscribe to 4, 5, 6 different streaming services. They're going to pick probably 3, maybe 4 that they're going to go with just based off of the amount of content down there. And honestly, CBS All Access and Showtime, for that matter, are kind of at risk of falling off. Like, they have some wobbly legs. They're still way at the bottom in terms of the amount of, shared market that they have for streaming video on demand between the two of them. So combining them and making a unified front with all of the cool Paramount films in there as well, I think they might have something on their hands. It may not be as good as Disney Plus, and it's probably not going to be as good as they think it is internally, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see that happening rather soon, especially considering They got a brand new boss over there for the CBS Online Entertainment, and they're keeping the CEOs from Viacom and CBS kind of working together. And I think that their intention is probably going to be is to merge as fast as possible, especially on the SVOD front, so that they can kind of get those subscriptions beefed up. And I would say we're going to see that probably the next year or so. And we're probably going to see a subscription price hike to match that of probably Disney Plus, or maybe even going a little bit beyond that, because again, they're going to look at their library of content and say, well, we've got a whole bunch of cool stuff in here that people probably want to watch. So how can we get them to do that? Well, we're going to consolidate it all and then force people to watch it. I am keeping my fingers kind of on the pulse of the whole SVOD situation, mainly because there was a whole lot of drama about the Netflix not holding season 3 of Discovery, and then it was, and then it lost Picard, and I think there's a lot of money changing hands, and a lot of different things are kind of happening behind the scenes, and I think it's very volatile and constantly in flux, and I think it's way more impactful than probably most of us realize, where it was just reported recently by CNBC that SVOD, just the last year, made a record-breaking $23.2 billion. That's all SVODs put together, but that's how much money that these services are making. So there is a lot of money in there, and the market is very lucrative, and that's why all of these companies are trying to get in there, but not everyone can get in. Not everyone's going to stay on tap. You know, we just lost PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now or PlayStation View or whatever the hell the PlayStation version of television was. They're canceling that here rather shortly because I guess nobody was watching it. I was not watching it because I don't even remember what the hell the name was. But you guys get the picture. It's very volatile out there. So I'm very curious to see what this means for not only the situation with Star Trek, but really just for CBS as a whole and Viacom as a whole. But the Star Trek television shows are obviously going to be impacted by this, and potentially even streaming-only films. Now, we know Netflix does that quite a bit, and other services are starting to do that as well, but CBS could potentially also do that, where we may even see a Pike-specific or Pike-centric kind of streaming service-only video movie kind of come out, as opposed to a theatrical release, because it's much safer to just film these things in-house and release them in-house, and you release it out to your subscribers, and it's much easier to kind of control that, and the studio gets a lot of that money back to them. So we may be seeing something like that in the future for Pike. Speaking of Pike, we obviously have the new short trek coming out this week, Ask Not. It's actually coming out in 2 days, I think, from the recording of this video. And I've done a quick little breakdown of that, and it's basically, it looks like Pike has been arrested for some kind of a crime, and he's hanging out on Starbase 28 with a cadet who is basically monitoring him, and then there's some kind of an attack on the station or something goes on, and he's trying to get out of his restraint since he's basically refusing to do that. We don't really know much more beyond that. And there's two things I want to talk about really quickly. Number one is that Starbase 28 has been featured in Discovery before, and it was in I think season 1 episode, Choose Your Pain, but it looked completely different from the design that we're seeing from the trailer of the short trek, so I don't know if there's a kind of a correlation there, or if maybe they've just changed the station. Maybe it was destroyed perhaps during the Klingon War and they rebuilt it, and this is the new Starbase 28. That's very possible, but it's interesting that they're using the same name, but so far we don't know any connections there. And the other thing I want to talk about was a theory that was kind of presented to me in the YouTube comments and different discussion boards that I've been part of, is people are suggesting that this whole scenario is actually this whole short trek is actually just one long scenario for the cadets, similar to that of the psychological test that Wesley Crusher faced during that season 1 episode where he was attempting to get into Starfleet Academy, and then he had to save 2 people from a fire, and he was only able to save 1, and the other guy he left to die. He didn't really know what to do, and it was the psychological test. And people are theorizing that this may be this cadet psychological test. Now, obviously, the one for Crusher happened before he was even admitted to the Starfleet Academy, but that's not to say that they don't continue to screw around with people's minds as they're in the academy. I mean, really, the whole purpose of the Kobayashi Maru test is to kind of screw with the individual's head, that they have to come to terms with a no-win scenario. That was kind of the whole point of that. So clearly Starfleet Academy and Starfleet as a whole enjoys kind of screwing around with their trainees. So it's very possible that this may be that kind of a situation. Maybe Pike's in on the whole thing and there is no arrest, but he's kind of testing her to see if she's ready to get, a command or get, whatever it is that she's trying to get, a promotion or a commission or whatever her next step is there. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the rumor rundown. Okay, so we don't actually have any rumors to kind of discuss today, which is great, I think it's been all quiet on the rumor front. Obviously, the Anas Abdeen lawsuit, tardigrade stuff has been making waves. I've been doing my best to kind of cover it. I don't want to get this show bogged down with all those details, so I'm kind of keeping it a little bit separate, but Other than that, there really hasn't been any rumors rolling around out there. So this is really great news, and hopefully we can kind of keep up this positive attitude leading right into Picard, and hopefully there isn't a whole new rash of them either right before or right after, or maybe even during. But this is great news, so let's keep up this positive attitude. We're really seeing a really positive churn inside the Trek community, at least from my perspective. So I think the mood is high. Everyone is anticipating the new shows, and hopefully we can keep up this great momentum. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the Trek Trivia question of the week. Okay, so congratulations to everyone who got the trivia question from last week correct. A lot of you guys and gals got it right, so I made it a little bit too easy, so I'm going to make this next week's ones a little bit harder. But the answer to last week's question, which was, if you guys don't remember, when did the EMH, the regular Robert Picardo EMH, show up with a full head of hair? What episode was that? And it was the episode before and after, the Voyager episode before and after. So congratulations to all of you guys and gals who got that right. There was one person who brought up the fact that there were other EMHs who had hair, and I didn't specify that. Now, that's a good thing. I was not trying to trick you guys this time, but now I kind of wish that I had, because only one of you would have gotten it right, so missed opportunity. So this question is going to be a little bit more challenging, and it's for my Enterprise fans out there. And the question is very simply, how many first contacts were made with different races inside of Star Trek Enterprise? Inside the show. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, I'm not going to try to trick you and say the Vulcans were there, because we had already made first contact with them in the film First Contact. So I'm not counting those, but it's a long list of different races, but some of them would be a little bit more, I guess, subtle. So good luck to you guys and gals out there. This proves to be a little bit difficult, hopefully, but I hope some of you guys and gals get it correct, and if nobody gets it right this time, I guess we could just do our very first rollover. This might be our hardest question yet, so we might do a rollover trivia question for next episode, so good luck, everybody. All right, then let's go and jump right into the comment of the week. Okay, so this week's comment comes from user James Lewis, and it says, I really hope that this can lead to a revival of the full-length Star Trek feature film series. Fingers crossed for some positive announcements from the company next year. Well, James, thank you for your comment, and I would share your sentiment. I know I talked a little bit about this earlier in the video about potentially the kind of direct-to-streaming videos that they might be doing for Pike, or maybe even for Discovery, or even for Section 31, or for any other shows. I think that this is definitely a possibility. I think that this merger between CBS and Viacom is going to just explode even more Star Trek onto the scene. I'm not really worried about franchise fatigue yet, because it seems to be like they're pacing things out pretty well at this particular point, where I find myself constantly wanting more Star Trek. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting enough right now, so I think they're doing a good job pacing everything out. And I think it would be fun if they started throwing in some more feature-length kind of films, not necessarily cinema releases, because obviously we know that that can be a little bit dangerous. You know, box office is a big deal, and you got to get people to the theaters, and all that stuff is rather dangerous, but I would say that it's very possible that they may do some SVOD kind of releases, which is a very new norm right now. That's not I think before it was kind of like a stigma about, going directly to Netflix or whatever it is. But now those films are also getting up there in quality, and really iconic kind of films, like movies like Bird Box and stuff like that was like a huge blow up all over the country and all over the world for that matter. So I would be very excited to see some awesome news regarding the future of Star Trek films, hopefully in the next year or so. That would be pretty awesome. So thanks for asking. That's a good question. All right, so that wraps up today's video. We didn't talk about a whole lot of news topics, but we did cover two important stories, one being the CBS and Viacom merger and the potential for Star Trek SVOD films. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that possibility, and if you think that Pike may be going that direction. And of course, we talked about my theory and some other people's theories regarding the potential test of the cadet for this new Short Trek Ask Not. Do you think that that's a good theory? And what other ideas do you think might be going on? Do you think he's actually being arrested, Captain Pike, for some kind of crime? I'm curious to hear what you guys and gals think about that. And I will remind you guys one more time that if you want one of these awesome tribbles that I have over here from adoptatribble.com, be sure to use the promo link down in the description below, which is thank-you10, to get 10% off on your purchase on that website. I hope that you guys are over there and getting those awesome tribbles and snapping some photos and sending them to me. I really want to see your guys' tribbles that you guys decide to go with. So I appreciate everyone watching this video. Get your comments down below. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies.